The materials and the tools that we will be using to making this hat, I have both from Red Heart. This one is a lighter blue and this one is a darker blue. We have a pair of scissors, a large eye tapestry needle, and a crochet hook, 5.50 millimeter I9. Beginning with a magic circle, make sure you have enough tail so that we can weave it in later. Wrap your yarn around 2 fingers, go under, pull up your working yarn, and complete a chain stitch. Tighten it up onto the magic circle and chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Into the magic circle, place 15 double crochets. The chain 3 will count as our double crochet. So yarn over into the hook, pull up a loop, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2. Continue till you have a total of 16, including the chain 3 in your count. Pull your tail tight by pinching the last 2 stitches and bringing it all together. Slip stitch into the top of the chain 3. Chain 3. This will be our first double crochet, then chain 1 for the space in between. Double crochet into our first or our same stitch that we slip stitched into, so you have like a V stitch here. Into our next stitch, 1 double crochet. We're going to begin our repeat now. Double crochet into the next stitch, chain 1, double crochet into the same stitch. Into our next stitch, 1 double crochet. Repeat the double crochet, chain 1, double crochet in the next stitch, and the 1 double crochet around until you get to the last stitch. I will meet you there. Slip stitch into the space between the chain 3 and the double crochet and chain 1. Now we're going to chain 4, remembering that at the beginning of every row, chain 3 is a double crochet, chain 1 is the spacer in between. Now in the same space, double crochet, and then double crochet again in the same space. In the 1, over here, the 1, we're going to place 1 double crochet, and now we're going to begin our repeat. In our V stitch, 2 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet. In the 1, 1 double crochet. All right, repeat 2 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet in our next V stitch, and then in our single 1 double crochet. Repeat this all the way around. So at the end of this row, we want to place 1 double crochet right next to that chain 3. Make sure you don't overlap it like I was trying to do. Then we're going to go ahead and just slip stitch into that opening. And that'll take us right over that chain and right where we need to be. Let's go ahead and chain 4. In this chain 1 space, 2 double crochets. Now you're going to see our first double crochet right here, and you'll see the opening for that is right here on the right side, and sometimes it can get covered by the stitches that we placed over the chain 1. You may need to pull it over. Let's go ahead and place 1 double crochet into that space. We're going to go ahead and skip 1, 2, 3, and into that 4th one, which will basically be the first one right here at the chain 1, 1 double crochet. This is our repeat beginning now. And in the chain 1 space, 2 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet. Now you're going to see that you will cover the next stitch that we need. See how this is covered right here? So we just pinch the top of that stitch, slide the rest of your stitches over, and right here we're going to go ahead and place 1 double crochet. Now you're thinking, why can't I just add it to the center with the chain 1? Because see how it won't really spread over the way we need it to? All right, so I'm going to show you one more time. Here we have the one we just placed our double crochet in. Skip 1, 2, 3 into that 4th one, your double crochet, and then in the chain 1 space, 2 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet, and then the 1 double crochet on to the last. So go ahead and do that all the way around, and I'll meet you at the end of the row. So let's finish this row. We're going to go ahead and place our next stitch right here. Okay, we already have our chain, and we still have to place a double crochet there, and then slip stitch into the top to the center. Okay, mine is starting to cup up a little bit. How's yours doing? Let's move on to our next row. Chain 4, okay, and then our 2 double crochet. Seems like this is going to be a norm for the beginning of this row. Okay, now this time we're going to go into this one, and we're going to go into the second one. So our first double crochet and our second double crochet. So here's 1 and 2. You'll notice that in our little group, the last one will get not a stitch on it. Okay, then we're going to reach across and we're going to skip 1 and 1. So here we're going to place our first of 2 single double crochets. So here's 1, here's 2, now here's our chain 1 space, 2 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet. And I think you're going to be catching on to this already. It's actually kind of exciting. Now we need to slide it over, double crochet in the first double crochet from that previous row, and then the second one. Okay, so this is our repeat. 2 single double crochets, then the 2 chain 1, 2 in that chain 1 space, and then 2 singles, and then skip 2. Go ahead and do that all the way around. When you get to the end, I'll show you how to finish the row. Well, at the end of the row, it looks kind of confusing, doesn't it? Anyway, so here's the one we skip, and here's the other 2. So we're going to place a double crochet in the first of the 2, and then we're going to place one in the bottom of that slip stitch that's right there at that chain 3. Okay, then we're going to do a double crochet over that slip stitch, and this will finish off our row. So now we're all even with the rest of them. So let's slip stitch into the top of that chain 4 again, and chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I think that you're catching on with what's going on here, right? At least I believe you are. So here's the one side of our V with the chain 1. So now we 2 double crochet. Okay, so now this time we do 1, 2, 3. Okay, the last row we had 4. Now this row we're going to have 5. So you can see how each row that we build upon increases to the next one. Okay, so here's our 2 after our chain 1. 1, 2, 3 singles, skip our 2. Now we're going to double crochet 3 singles. 1, 2, and 3, and then in our chain 1 space, 2 double crochet, oops, chain 1, 2 double crochet. And as before, we have our 3 singles, and then we'll carry on. Now I believe that you have picked this idea up, so what I would like for you to do is to continue on until you have a total of this V section 8 on one side. So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think you can do this for the next 3 rows until you have 8 on either side here. Okay, so continue around. Remember, when you get to the end of this row, okay, here's our first one, 1, 2, and into the top of that chain 3, double crochet, and then slip stitch to the top. And that's what was going to happen. Don't forget, your chain 3s do count as your stitch. Okay, so let's carry on until we have 8 on one side total. Please pause your video. Turned out to be a pretty big circle with a ripple in it. Let's move on to our next row. Chain 3, and in our chain 1 space, add 2 double crochets. No chains. And in the next 4 stitches, 1 double crochet per stitch. In our next 2 stitches, we're going to be creating a decrease stitch. So yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over through the first 2, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over through the next 2. We have 3 loops on our hook, yarn over through all 3. We're going to skip 4 double crochets, so in the 5th and the 6th one we're going to do our decrease again, and yes, it's going to pull it all the way over. So yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2, 3 loops on the hook, pull it all together. Okay, then 4 double crochets, and in our chain 1 space, 3 double crochets. Okay, now we're going to begin our repeat again. Remember to pull that back to do our double crochet in our first. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Our next 2 is our decrease stitch. Skip 4 and decrease stitch in the next 2. Okay, continue this all the way around. I'll meet you at the end of the row. At the end of this row, we're going to slip stitch into the top of that chain 3. And then chain 3 again. This time into the top of the next stitch, we're going to do 1 double crochet, and into the next 1, 2, 3 stitches, 1 double crochet, in our next 2 stitches we're going to do our decrease stitch. We're going to skip the decrease and the decrease, and into the next stitch, over the next 2 stitches I should say, we're going to do our decrease stitch. Then 1, 2, and 3, and this will take us at the top of the 3 again. So we're just going to do 1 for that center top, then on the other side 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so our next 2 stitches is the decrease. Then skip across over the 2 decreases, make another decrease, and continue around. You'll notice that our hat will start a cupping and bringing it in on the sides here. Continue around. I'll meet you at the end of the row. So to finish this row, we're just going to slip stitch into the top of the chain 3. We're going to cut our yarn, and we're going to start with our new color. So with a slip knot on our hook, let's go ahead and join with a single crochet. We're going to weave in those tails at the same time. So place a few single crochets in, but we're going to skip these 2 decreased stitches. Okay, so pull your work over, and that'll help pull those stitches closer together. So as you continue around, 1 single crochet per stitch, skipping the 2 decreases. Do this all the way around. I'll meet you at the end of the row. At the end of the row, we're going to slip stitch into that first single crochet and chain 2. This chain 2 will count as our double crochet. Place 1 double crochet in each stitch around the row. When you get to the end, slip stitch into the top of the chain 2. Now for our next row, we're going to chain 2, and we're going to do front post and back post double crochets. Our next stitch, we will do a front post double crochet. The stitch after that, a back post double crochet. All right, continue around. With our front post and back post double crochet, this will be a ribbing. You'll notice that when you do your chain 2, this will be in the back. So your last stitch here should be a front post double crochet, and then you'll slip stitch into the top of the chain 2, and then your next stitch will automatically be a front post double crochet. Do this for a total of 3 rows. So after this one, you'll have 2 more rows to go, and then we'll be finished with our hat. I love this little hat. So here at the end, we're going to go ahead and cut our yarn, and we're going to use our tapestry needle to go ahead and weave in our ends. I go down this way on the inside, so it all will go with the length of the stretch. Let's turn our hat inside out and take the tail for that magic circle. Now, one of the things about this magic circle, you only have that one thread holding all our stitches. So find out where it comes out and then go in and try to go through as many as you can in case that one yarn breaks. So we're going to go around it just one more time. I know you're probably thinking, well, why didn't we just double it at the beginning? I have found that some people who have tried to double it before, it would get caught and make it so it couldn't really shrink down to the size that they needed. So it was just easier to do it with one thread as compared to having it double looped. So go over one yarn and come back, then go over one yarn again and go back again. If you go over the one yarn, you won't lose your weave. When we cut it about 1/2 inch from the edge. Turn your hat inside out. And here we have a cute little ripple hat. So thank you for being with me today. I hope you make this hat. At first it gives you the impression it's going to be super huge, but actually it will fit. This size here is for an adult. If you want to do a child size, I suggest using a size 5.00 millimeter hook and an H. So this hat was also made to help support the Hat Not Hate Stop Bullying campaign. So they will be receiving quite a number of hats from me made with this blue yarn that they're recommending. So till next time, take care. Bye-bye.